All right, good evening, everyone. You are here with myself, Jennifer, head of corporate collections for NOAA, and Sean Cantera, NOAA's fraud prevention. Um,
Howdy,
we're,
howdy.
we're here for another episode of Bad Brokers and Unpaid Freight Invoices. I'll let John take it away because he has something to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, of course, I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving weekend and got a chance to take a break. I don't know about you, Jen, but I think this is the first 4 consecutive days I have not engaged in work in 4 years. So I needed that break.
Yeah, I'm
So
smelling what you're stepping
as
in. And I disengage pretty good myself. I usually don't, but I did for the most part. So I'm with you.
Y- we got to at least try. And that even goes for the carriers out there. You got to at least try to just turn your brain off and let yourself recover. Otherwise, we age way too quickly. I mean, you see all this gray in me, and I'm only 22 years old. So, I mean, and if you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you too. Um, but that's neither here nor there. I've got a couple of cases that are open right now that I'm working on. Several freight cards, couple scam brokers, scam carrier who's leasing on people and not paying them. Uh, Again, avoid idiots like these. It's just throw that one back up on the bottom of the screen here. If you're talking to Jackie Crane, don't do it. Let me know, and and I need to get your story from you so I can add it to the rest of the case. Anywho, what I really want to talk about today is a case that I've been working on for, geez, it's been almost 2 months. Um, and this case involves a JB Hunt trailer that should not have been where it was, a cargo that originated in Wisconsin, but the paperwork says it originated in Joliet, Illinois, and a carrier who realized that she was being scammed by the time she got to Arizona on that load going from Illinois to California. So I want to break that down and use this as an example of what you should do and what you shouldn't do in these situations. And Jen, I want you to back me up on this stuff and interrupt anytime you want
I always
as
do.
we go through this. Yes, you do, and that's okay. I like that. Um, so us go back to square one. There's a cargo that a carrier got their hands on in Illinois. She was operating under a rate confirmation from a very reputable broker. By the time she got to Arizona, she noticed something funny on the rate confirmation. And what was funny was the email address for the broker. The the brokerage on the rate confirmation was Varstar. For those of you who are familiar, their email addresses end in um, Varstar. What the hell was the second part of that of their name? Anyway, Varstar Alliance. Varstar Alliance. .com, and this particular rate confirmation had Varstar Alliance LLC.com. So once that was realized, then the carrier knew that she was in trouble. From that moment on, she has been trying desperately to get a hold of somebody to figure out whose load this belongs to and how she can get a real rate confirmation. Now, let's talk about some of the things that she did right in this event. As soon as she realized that she was just outside of Phoenix, and she went ahead and pulled over to the side of the road. She tried reaching Amazon uh, once because she picked up the trailer at an Amazon facility. So she tried contacting the Amazon facility. She got a hold of the manager there, and they said that they were going to escalate it. Of course, nothing ever happened. Um, she
Because
then
Amazon is
contacted.
the Wonka factory. Nobody goes in, nobody comes
Mm,
out. You can't call anybody. You can't send smoke signals, candy, nothing.
it's impossible. It is well, not impossible, but damn near. Um, So then she called the FBI, assuming that she had a stolen cargo, and she reported it. They wanted to meet with her as soon as possible at a field office in her hometown, which was in Wisconsin, and start their investigation because they thought it was related to a an investigation they had open regarding what the hell was that, ransom loads. Apparently, Amazon's got a huge problem with ransom cargo, cargo being stolen, taken to various sites on fake rate confirmations. Cargo gets uh, inspected. Once they determine the value, then they ransom it back to Amazon, who usually pays. Um, so yeah, that's a huge thing. But the FBI is discovering yards that these scammers are using for this and have been staking them out. So surprise, guys. Hopefully, one of these big rings will soon be
Say
coming to an end.
cheese.
Yeah, pretty much. And oh, by the way, if you think you're just now learning about it, they've been out there for over a month, so have fun. Um, it's it's been an interesting ride. So once she did that, she didn't want to haul the trailer all the way back without any guarantee of getting paid. Because remember, at this point, she doesn't have a valid rate confirmation. Therefore, she has no reasonable expectation to be paid. Which
And
is,
that
by the way,
allows you to hold the load hostage.
that
That's
is
the
the
only time. See, your
yes.
lips are moving, but I said the words. You're like a
Yes,
ventriloquist
yes.
over here.
Yeah,
Because the only
ventriloquist.
reason
You like
that you
that?
can hold a load hostage is if you have the reasonable expectation that you are not going to get paid for a load. If you, I had a situation sidebar, where I went from California to California. When he got there, it was a ransom load, hostage load, the same thing. And he went to deliver it. They said, "Oh, this load delivered yesterday." He said, "Okay." They wanted him to return it to the shipper. He says, "What I do, Jennifer?" I said, "You don't move because you already fulfilled your obligation by getting it here. Now you gotta have a new rate con to go back." And they no, no, they didn't want to give another rate con. They didn't want to. And I said, "You just hold on to that load." That is the only reason you can hold this load hostage because they've told you they're not going to pay you for it. So, anyways, go ahead. I digress. It's the only
So
way.
once, so once we realized there was no way she was getting paid that we were aware of, she went and she put the trailer in storage in the Phoenix area. Now, I have to say, some of the things that she did really right in doing that, she, even though we did break the seal on the trailer so that we can examine the cargo in an attempt to determine the origin, she did seal the trailer back up. She put a set of her own padlocks on the trailer to make sure that it stays closed. She put a kingpin lock on the trailer to make sure that it doesn't get moved. She ticked
Put
all
barricades
the bells and
around
whistles
it,
there. I
painted
mean,
marks on the tires.
she did everything possible to protect the retail value of the cargo, which is, as carriers, our responsibility to do. You know, they expect us to move the cargo safely and without damage, and she wanted to make sure that she protected that cargo. She had no idea how long it would be in storage. She was hoping it'd only be for a few days, and here we are, 2.5 months in. So fun. Anyway, so then she had to go back to Wisconsin to meet an FBI summons so that they can interview her on the cargo and try to match that up with some of the other active cases they have going on. Oh, fun times. So, as she's going through all this, she went through this for about a month before she reached out to me. Once she got hold of us at NOAA, I just backtracked on all the stuff that she had done before, which she had done quite properly, I have to admit. Then I was able to speak with the FBI about her case, and the FBI just couldn't understand how the cargo was getting stolen in the first place. So then I had to go and explain them how double brokering worked. Um, Once I explained that to them, it was like a light bulb went off, and that's why the FBI is now moving so fast forward on their open investigations regarding ransom cargo. So now that they have that info, we were able to get the identification information off the JB Hunt trailer because you still have JB Hunt in the mix, and they want to know where their trailer is. And it's actually not a trailer; it's an intermodal container on a JB Hunt chassis. So both pieces are JB Hunt. I was able to get the identification numbers off of them, and I got a hold of JB Hunt and said, "Hey, do you know where this particular container and chassis are?" They're like, "No, it's on our missing list." I was like, "Okay, we have it. Here it is. Here's the deal.
Now
Told
it's
them where the
on missing.
cargo is. It's not missing. And as soon as we get this resolved with Amazon, then we'll make sure it gets released back to you so you can do what you got to do." And they've been exceedingly patient. They have not charged any storage to Amazon or to the carrier, or usage of the trailer,
Demurrage or
so
whatever. Yeah.
or anything like that. So yeah, bravo JB Hunt. Yes, we have an active boycott against JB Hunt, but I have to give them some props here. Thank you for doing the right thing for the carrier. Okay. So let it be known that someone from NOAA actually said thank you to JB Hunt. Of course, now I'm going to get
Mark it on
fired,
the
but that's
calendar.
okay.
Mark it on the calendar.
I'll get
Not gonna
fired
happen
soon
again.
enough. um, so now JB Hunt is watching, sending me weekly requests for updates, et cetera, et cetera. But they've been very patient. Uh, Now comes the hard part, getting hold of Amazon. I guess it was about 3 weeks ago. I finally got a contact at Amazon's supply chain loss prevention office. And that's when we finally started getting into negotiations. Now, the carrier spent upwards of 3 grand just in fuel related to this load. And that's taking the load from Joliet to Phoenix and deadheading back to Wisconsin to meet with the FBI. So we are claiming that mileage as part of request with Amazon. And we know that Amazon and their attorneys are most likely going to balk at the deadhead back. But as I pointed out to them many, many, many times now, this carrier went the extra mile to protect the retail value of the cargo, which is fully intact. So, whatever margin Amazon would have in it, they're not going to lose a significant portion of it by satisfying the claim in the carrier's favor. So that is where the negotiation sits with their attorneys. I kind of jumped ahead there. The folks over at Supply Chain, they ended up pushing it to their outside attorneys because their initial settlement was flat out rejected by the carrier. Their initial settlement was like 22,000 for the line haul, and they were only paying like 25% of the storage cost. And I just laughed. Um, so it's now with their outside attorneys. Jen knows these guys very well. Um, Trying to remember the name of the firm off the top of my head.
Who's that?
I don't remember it.
What you
But
trying to?
what firm do you usually deal with when it comes to the Amazon stuff?
Oh,
Is it
the,
DWT?
no. Are you talking about who's the attorneys for them?
No. Okay. Yeah.
Banesh. Banesh Law, I think is what it is.
Okay. No, I've got Davis, Wright, Tremaine, I think. Anyway, I can't read. I need new glasses. Um, so yeah, the attorneys have reached out to us, and now I'm starting negotiations with the attorneys. Folks, this is 2.5 months in. Okay. Lesson number one about this particular case is if you wind up getting a load that picks up at an Amazon facility and you did not book it using an Amazon app, it is double brokered. It is a scam. Walk away. Cancel the load. Don't bother picking up the trailer. Okay, I could just
Even
tell you
if,
that now.
even if it's on truck stuff, even if it's on debt, even if it's a legitimate broker, even if the cow jumped over the moon, I don't know. Even if.
Anything that is the responsibility of Amazon moves through Amazon supply chain network, which means it only gets booked through the Amazon app. And whoever books the load in the app is the carrier that's going to get paid for it, not you. So make sure if you show up at an Amazon facility to pick up a trailer, you didn't know it was Amazon before, just turn around and drive away, find another load. Don't waste your time. Okay, so that's PSA number one. PSA number two, these
But
loads
John, if
were
they do
booked.
that, won't they get a freight guard report by the broker?
Well, they will threaten it. And I have seen scammers actually apply a freight guard. And then as soon as you go to immediately respond to it, they've already pulled it down. The problem is that through the freight guard system, if you get to provide a response, you can expose the scammers for what they are. So that they don't want to deal with that. All they want to do is scare you. So don't let them threaten you like
I just
that.
wanted to throw that out there because I know somebody saying, "No, we can't do that, or we're gonna get a freight guard." So that's why.
Under normal circumstances, you can, but you have every right to reject a trailer that you're going to pick up, just like any shipper has the right to reject your truck. It happens. It happens from time to time. You show up for the trailer's not serviceable. You know, what are you going to do? You call the broker, say, "Hey, look, this trailer it can't be moved. You need to have it serviced, or we're not taking it." I mean, whatever you need to do. But if you show up at an Amazon site, say you can tell the broker, "Hey, look, I didn't book this through the Amazon app, so I question how real this is. So I'm backing off this load." I think you'll be just fine in that situation. Now, if you do have a problem, make me eat crow and give me a shout. Um, PSA number two is pay attention to the rates. I say this all the time to carriers on the phone. If the rate is more than 20% above market, it's probably a scam.
If the
If
rate
you're
is
anything,
$20 above market, it's probably
I
a
I was
scam.
just about to say, if it's anything above market, you're an exceptional negotiator today. Um, but if it's more than 20% over market, it's just about guaranteed to be a scam. Market rate for this load going from Joliet to Southern California is just shy of $3,000. So under the metric I would typically use, if it's more than 3,500, then I'm automatically assuming scam. This was booked at 6,000, but remember it was with a reputable broker. And I've seen the rate confirmations. These rate confirmations are actually very good.
I mean,
The way they
John, they just
doctor
pull
them
them
is
down.
very
They
good.
just pull them offline and save them, and then they go and they put it in Adobe and alter it. I mean, it's
Yep.
easy.
But I mean, matching the font exactly is sometimes rough. Making sure it lines up perfectly with the rest of the stuff on the page, that sometimes is a little tricky. The only thing that gave the scammer away was the email address, and the email address was damn good. So normally you'd see these scammers operating off of Gmail email addresses or whatnot. No, this guy actually went and got the domain varstaralliancellc.com. So, if they go to the links to get a domain, yeah, it's $20 a year. But if they go to the links to pull a domain like that, they're serious about the work they do. They're serious about scamming you. They're serious in their sophistication. So you have to really take them seriously as they work to steal your money, and you have to deal with it very seriously. $6,000 is way too much. But think of it this way: she's out $6,000 for the week in her mind, plus her costs, fuel, labor, wear and tear on the truck. Take into account she had a return trip with the same broker for another 6,000. Okay, so actually she's out 12,000 for the week, 3,000 in fuel. In her mind, she's out over 15 grand on revenue for the week. That's a lot of money for any of us. So she's gone into some deep, desperate issues as a result of all this, because she wasn't even able to cover her costs. She's missing paying bills and all these other things. Carriers, you know what we're talking about here. We've been through this stuff before. Um, Pretty much every carrier has, but it's now a matter of getting her something to help offset those costs and to help get her financially back on track. The problem with Amazon is they've drug their feet for so damn long. It's crazy. So as of right now, we do have an offer in for a settlement that I submitted to the attorneys today. No, it's not for 15,000, as much as I wish it was. It is for a modest amount, and it does cover all the carrier's expenses. And that's really what you can expect in cases such as this. Um, you cannot expect for the real broker to honor the scammer's rate confirmation. That is unrealistic. You know, in this specific case, the scammer got paid already. So the scammer got their 2,200, 2,700, whatever the heck the rate confirmation really was. They got paid. So now Amazon's double pay for this load. They're not going to pay $6,000 on a $3,000 load. It's not going to happen. So you have to understand that when you come to us with a double brokered load in a too good to be true scam, be realistic about your expectations. We'll get you every dime we can, but be realistic in the expectations. It's uh it's a challenge. And why the or the scammer actually did get paid is this cargo, uh, through our investigation, originated in Wisconsin, not in Illinois. Whoever picked it up in Wisconsin moved it to Joliet, and it was two loads consolidated into the one load that this carrier was hauling. So the scammer, who was supposed to take it all the way to California, forged the BOL and claimed they delivered. So they got paid. Fun times. You got to love these guys. These guys just don't stop. They really don't. And I've got a stack of cases like this sitting here. Thankfully, this is the only Amazon one because boy, I hate fighting Amazon. I know you've got some horror stories about Amazon, Jen. Do you?
I
Dead
do.
air.
I do. I was muted.
Go for it. What's your favorite one so far? Because God knows we do them all the time. This is beat up on Amazon Day in case you haven't figured it out. So this carrier now is just waiting for some form of resolution. At the end of the day, it looks like we're going to take um, Amazon's going to take possession of the trailer at the storage site. We are insisting they pay the full amount of the storage, not just 25% of it. Um, they are most likely going to
Oh,
take it to
I'm
one of
unmuted.
their
Sorry.
local.
Interrupting. I got
That's okay.
unmuted. It would not unmute. I was sitting. You should have seen me struggling. I was hitting mute and it would mute, 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 mute. I'm sorry. That's fine.
I thought I was by myself here for a second.
No, no, no. I'm here, but
But
I am seeing my little guy off. So if you'll just run the show for about 2 minutes, I'll be back.
you got it.
All right.
So basically, Amazon should recover that trailer and take it to one of their local sites in the Phoenix area and unload that trailer there. And as long as they do that, then I can finally get JB Hunt to come and recover their empty container and chassis. Um, and then Amazon will worry about getting the rest of the cargo the rest of the way into California. And it's only like a 3 hour trip from Phoenix. So I'm sorry, 300-mile trip out of Phoenix, 6 hours. So it's been a challenge for the last 2.5 months, just trying to get to where we're at. Today was the first time the outside attorneys had reached out to us. We've been waiting now for 3 weeks for them to do that. So I am so happy that we are finally getting to this point. And I really hope to get this case closed soon because it is killing me. Um, but these double brokers, they are a trip. And oh, by the way, they're a quick and easy way to get yourself a freight guard, even if you're the real carrier in a double brokered situation. Back to PSA number two, in a too good to be true situation, if you stick to your guns and you insist on that full amount that the scammer promised, eventually the broker will pay it. I'll tell you that now. They will pay it, but they will freight guard you as well. So be prepared for that. How bad do you want to stick to your guns? Is it really worth that extra $1,000 to be losing tens of thousands a month because you got a freight guard for holding cargo hostage? It's just not worth it. As soon as you have a valid rate confirmation, you got to deliver. You are committed. And you can continue to negotiate with the real broker after delivery. There's nothing that says you can't do that. So, by all means, deliver the cargo, keep talking with the broker, be respectful, and you can get your way, or at least a satisfactory compromise. Let's face it, in our world, what we really are trying to do more than anything is to make sure that the carrier's costs are covered. That is the most important thing because at least then you, as the carrier, are not losing. That's what really is important here. If we can get you more, hey, great. If it's a situation where the carrier, the scammer has already been paid, you're not going to get more. You got to catch it while it's still in the truck and the scammer hasn't been paid in order to uh, prevent things from happening. I was just looking at the comments, and clearly that was I must have been Jen trying to get back in touch with me when her stuff was muted. Okay, so let's move on to some of the other stuff that we're dealing with. We've got another TQL claim report, and this one's a whopper. This claim is for $250,000. Um, we won't say that it's a completely illegitimate claim. The cargo in question uh, was involved in an accident in Georgia. Truck burned, cargo burned. Cargo was a total loss. So, of course, TQL went to the insurance company. Insurance company paid out in full. Well, in full for the policy. So we're looking at $100,000 paid to TQL by the insurance company. TQL in no way advised the carrier that the value of the load exceeded $100,000. The shipper did not advise the carrier of that. And now they are insisting that the carrier pay the full 250. That then puts the carrier out 150,000. Oh, and by the way, the carrier has almost $100,000 in outstanding invoices with TQL that is being withheld because of this case. So this one is definitely a conundrum. Uh, we're reaching out to our legal experts on this particular situation because of the amount that's involved. Um, and we'll see how that one winds up because that one blows my mind. I There's a lot of debate out there as to who's really responsible, but I can tell you, I think most you carriers will agree with me that the carrier is only responsible for what the insurance is going to cover, and if they didn't disclose the value of the cargo from up front so that the carrier can responsibly cover the whole cargo, then that's on TQL. TQL needs to pony up some of their $1 billion in profit every year and pay that bill themselves. Just like we want the TQL to pay their trailer repair bills. It's a kick to you, Mike. I'm sure you're kind of nodding your head there. About damn time, yeah. Guys, TQL is trouble. I've seen on our Facebook page people talk about running for TQL. Um, we have them on a boycott list, as well as JB Hunt, as well as CH Robinson, as well as Amazon. And we understand that there are people who are going to go against that boycott. We're not so unrealistic as to expect everyone's going to stop hauling for them, though we definitely would like to see that. Um, let's talk about the reality of the situation. If you're under 6 months of authority, there are maybe a handful of brokers, literally only five that I can think of, who will work with you.
Maybe
Um,
5.
Maybe. And that number is dwindling. The two biggest were TQL and Landstar. And Landstar has recently changed their rules about what I think it was a month ago, that they now require 6 months of authority to work with you. So it's it's going to be a problem for any carrier who's just now starting out to avoid using TQL. We understand that. But if you do it at your own risk. Understand that if you post in our Facebook group that you did something with TQL and you're being treated unfairly by TQL, sorry, all the 40,000 people are going to laugh at you. I'm being honest with you here. Um, we're still here to help you. We're still here to try to make things right for you. But TQL is a very challenging beast to deal with when it comes to those situations. Um, it's very difficult to win. And I can tell you, Noah is working feverishly to deal with TQL. I'm not going to go into any more details than that, but we're working on it. Frankly, I'd like to see TQL just go away. I would love to see that place get shut down, but we'll see whether or not that can be arranged. So, anybody out there have any questions for us? Jen's back, and
And so
we're
I'm
just
back
here to help answer
from
anything you
outer
guys
space.
got. We got a few people out there watching us right now.
Yep.
You got any issues involving fraud in the transportation industry, or you have invoices that are unpaid, whether that's from a legitimate broker or you're dealing with a double brokered load, um, please fire away. We are here to help. Just let us know what you need. And for those of you who do not know, if you need to reach us, make sure you join Noah at www.tnooa.com. And then you can email info@tnooa.com and ask for either one of us, either fraud prevention or corporate collections, and we'll be able to help address your issues fairly quickly. They route those emails to us very quickly for members. So please, by all means, if you're not a member of NOAA, join NOAA. The cost for joining NOAA is $125 a quarter. I don't know of any other association that you can join within this industry for that low of an amount and get so much support out of. You have the ability to start a trucking company from scratch as a member because you have access to our compliance group. You have access to our leasing group. You have access to our insurance group. You have access to everything you need to get yourself started. Take advantage of those resources. That's what makes being a member of NOAA so important, so special. Those resources are all at a discount, and that includes services for fraud prevention and for corporate collections. We are below the market norms in our rates. Um, I know specifically with freight guards, I've never seen a freight guard removal advertised at less than $1,000. I do it for 500. So, and well, by the way, we don't charge on those until we get results. So that's why we fight so hard to make it work for you. I had a member once ask me, well, since I'm a member, I should get that as, a cost of my membership. I feel some people's argument on that, but this is also a premium service. If you hired an attorney, you're looking at 2,000 in costs and no guarantee whatsoever of success. So that's why reaching out to us is better. We're going to save you a lot of money doing that. It's the savings that really stack up and make joining NOAA worthwhile. So that's my plug for NOAA for the moment.
Yep. Definitely. There's a good place for support, especially for new people starting out that don't know where to turn to, don't know where to ask questions. The Facebook forum is a good place to ask those questions. You get lots of answers there. Also, being able to reach out once you are a paying member, you have the opportunity to reach out to members in all of the divisions for questions and answers and services and discounts and yada yada yada. So the whole 9 yards. I did want to talk about real quickly, just going over what we already know, but just reiterating: Convoy Inc., Elite Transit Solutions, Meadowlark Agency, Cell Supply Chain Solutions. All of them are gone. I think Elite is still kind of dabbling out there, but they're quickly fizzling.
Yeah,
They've already fired
they're
most
limping.
all the last few people. As all that's left in the office, a skeleton crew. So if you have any invoices and you need help to recover them, please join NOAA, www.tnooa.com, and you can get my information there, and I'll be happy to help you. There it is in the ticker at the bottom. Um, yeah, more of the same, more freight guards out there. People are getting freight guards. It seems like more and more frequently. They're emotional 90% of the time. So just
Oh
make
yeah.
sure you behave yourselves. I mean that nicely. I mean, don't go cussing the broker. Don't go having a fit, because it's harder for us to come in behind you and clean up when we have when we've had that happen in front of us. If you're just okay, yes, yep, okay, then you call us. It's easier for us to get through to the broker and communicate, with them and get it resolved. It's a lot harder when you're throwing mashed potatoes across the room at each other.
Apt considering the time of year. Um, it should be sweet potatoes. I think I'm good. I'm up for a good food fight. Yeah, guys, we're here to protect you. We're here to help you. But you can't do anything for yourself unless you join NOAA. I know a lot of people look at our Facebook group and use our Facebook group as gospel in trying to resolve your issues. Understand, our Facebook group is a lot like any other social media group. It's full of people who have opinions. However, many of them are actual facts is questionable. Between Jennifer and myself, we are professionals in this industry. We are specialists in what we deal with. We can tell you the facts. We can tell you the laws that govern what we do. We can tell you when industry standard is the only thing that exists in guiding what we're capable of. And that exists a lot in this industry, I'm sorry to say. The rule makers at FMCSA don't seem to want to give carriers any chance when it comes to making rules. Brokers now, yeah, they let them do whatever the hell they want. Ugh, you get frustrated. But please, if you have serious questions, I know Jennifer and myself, we do probe the Facebook group on a regular basis. If there's something that's within our expertise to answer, we do chime in. We are both admins. Pretty much anyone on the admin list is a subject matter expert, and you can take what they say as a little more factual than some others. So, I'm not trying to knock anybody else in the group, not at all. But we've seen bad advice get passed around in the group, like, oh, you think you're entitled to $500 a day in layover. Well, hold the load hostage until they give it to you. No, you can't do that. Okay. Remember, what's the only time that you can legally hold a cargo hostage and not get in trouble
When
for
you
it?
have the expectation of not getting paid at all.
I.e., you don't have a valid rate confirmation. If you got a valid rate confirmation,
Or if
you
they've
are
specifically stated in
committed.
writing they're not paying you, go fly a kite. That'll be a good reason to think you're not getting paid. Something like that. I mean, and you can tell when they're serious, when they're legitimately talking about they're not going to pay you. Like that one guy that was just told me, that's nice. Just return just return the freight up here, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah, I don't think so, buddy.
It's real simple. You get caught in a situation like this, contact us. This is what we are here for. We can jump in and mediate for you. We can get those resolutions done. and make sure that you're not wasting your time or getting yourself into trouble as a result. I wish this world operated based on what we think is fair and rational, um, but unfortunately, that's not real life. Um, that's why you have experts like us around to help guide you through those situations. Take advantage of that. That's why we're here. You got
Um,
any other interesting cases you want to chime in on?
I'm trying to think. I had some last week, but they don't seem so interesting now that I eat so much turkey and I'm in turkey coma. Uh,
The tryptophan coma definitely hit me pretty solid this week. Um, yeah, and I didn't even have turkey. I had a pork roast and a beef roast. So yeah, well, we don't do traditional in this house,
love it.
but
We used to do smoked pheasant and we would eat moose on Thanksgiving and oyster dressing, just so you know.
okay, well that's new cuisine for me.
Yeah,
I
so
I
my
will probably
grandparents
have to try that at some point.
my grandparents used to go to Canada moose hunting twice a year, and so we always had moose. And then my grandfather used to release pheasants, raise and release pheasants to the wild, and so we always had smoked pheasant. So
I married a Southern girl, so when first time I had Thanksgiving with her parents, it was interesting. I was known as that boy who didn't eat collards. I had no idea what collards were.
I don't eat
I
collars; I
had
starch collars.
I never had dressing before, and that's the cornmeal style dressing that we're talking about. Most of us Yankees
Stuffing.
refer to this as stuffing, but
Oh,
my
stovetop.
wife pointed out, "What is this gray stuff? Sitting here in this bowl next to the bird?" I was like, "Oh, that's stuffing." No, it's not. So that was a lively debate. Thankfully, I did graduate from being that boy who didn't eat collards, um, and have moved up the chain somewhat within my in-laws' family. Um, I think what really did it was I told my father-in-law that my wife was working on her makeup, and I said she was down for maintenance, and he laughed his ass off. Um, but
So,
that's neither
so,
here nor there.
so you say turkey? You say dressing or stuffing? We do stuffing. Dressing is southern, and then you say is it sweet potato or pumpkin? What kind of pie do you like?
I prefer pumpkin, but I like both.
And there's a couple other ones that we went through one time, and I was like, the anomalies of the Thanksgiving or Christmas dinners.
Well, I'm so used to the canned cranberry sauce, as I'm sure most people out there are. No, 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 not with my in-laws. It is the fresh cranberry
Oh,
sauce, and I
really?
was like, "What is this?" I'm
So
used to
you got
seeing it
the
in the
berries?
can in the shape of a can,
Yeah, cut with a
but
knife in
no, it's
slices.
fantastic. It is so much better fresh, so much better
um,
fresh.
is it soda pop or Coke?
In the South, it's Coke. For me back home, I'm originally from Delaware. It's soda.
Oh, I'm from
Um,
Ohio. It's pop.
yep, I think it's pop from about Ohio going due east out to Boston. Um, but yeah, Philadelphia and my home in Delaware, we call it soda.
So
It's kind of fun how these different things go around, and as carriers, you guys see this stuff all the time when you're on the road. I had my wife tell me once, carry me to the store, and I'm like, so I'm supposed to physically pick you up on my shoulders and carry? I mean, I could back then. No, she meant take her in the car,
somebody
and
said
I've
cut
never
off
heard
the
that before.
lights. Cut off the lights. Oh, cut them off.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's just crazy some of these things. But we'll come off the holiday dissertations
Yep.
for a little bit here. We still have a solid 4 weeks of running before we hit Christmas, and we all know that Christmas itself. Christmas is on a Monday this week, so Christmas week will be absolutely dead. So most carriers will be shut down for the entire week until just after New Year's. So that gives us 4 solid weeks to run. to try to generate whatever revenue you can. Please take advantage of this time as best you can. Um, assuming you're out there and the rates are worth it for you to do so. But again,
I
if you
read
get in
that this
trouble,
is not
we're
going to
here.
turn around until after 2020 till 2025, John.
Well, I would be exceptionally disappointed if that were the case, but I'm not inclined to disagree. You talk to any of the economists out there, they say that it's going to improve in 3 to 6 months. And that's been a consistent message for the last year and a half. So take that for what it's worth. Um, what's really the issue here is the excessive number of carriers that are out there. I've heard from a broker friend of mine that there were 2,300 new carriers were approved by FMCSA last week. Um, so as long as FMCSA is approving thousands of carriers every week to be added to the list, then this problem is going to continue to exist. I think if FMCSA just stopped granting authorities, carte blanche, any kind of authority for 6 months, we'll see the market come back into balance. But until something like that happens, FMCSA has all the power in the
Yeah,
world to correct this, and they just don't exercise it. Talk
we
to
really need
your
that
congressman.
transparency. That 371.3 CFR 49 371.3. We really need that to go into effect. We really need to get that moving as best that we can. But in the meantime, you know, there was some talk last night on our NOAA live. That people are you're all against the brokers. You don't like the brokers, and that's not true at all. That's not true. We talk about the bad brokers here, but we plug the good brokers. We've said props to the good brokers many times. We said, good, we point out who they are by name. We had one on one night from the North Point Logistics, I believe, with North
That
Point
was
with an
last week.
E.
He was a guest.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And when we have good brokers, we point them out just like we point out the bad brokers. And as Mike pointed out the other night, last night was when this started. This wasn't even about the bad brokers. It was about bad insurance companies, bad dispatchers, and um, bad mega carriers that you lease on to, predatory leasing, those kinds of things. He said we had our hands full that we didn't want to take on the brokers, but we were forced to when when these mega brokers started doing their shenanigans and what have you. And so, we're just standing up for the carriers out there and in all areas, not just the bad brokers, but that's why we've created all of these other departments to help where you've gotten into predatory leasing or bad pricing on your parts or whatever. We can come in and help out bad insurance rates. We've got a whole division for that. So, and that's why we're here. It's not all about the brokers. Heck, nobody even talked about the brokers until they and and then, like I told Mike, I didn't even realize there were that many bad brokers. I thought there were some bad megas, but I didn't know there were that many bad brokers until we start getting into it some more, and then we see them out there bragging about taking so much out of the loads. And then we have what are we supposed to do? Just stand there and let them do that to us? I don't think so.
Social media is kind of interesting in trying to gather some of this information, and everything I see in social media, I take with a grain of salt, and you should too. Everyone should. Uh, but I'm a member of the Freight Brokers subreddit. There's always interesting stories there. I've always see stories about how good a broker got on a carrier. I've seen brokers complain about carriers, and then I've seen brokers praise carriers. Um, we kind of try to operate the same way. It's important to recognize the good people in this industry because, to be perfectly honest, all the people who are in this industry have a place in this industry. Brokers have a place in this industry. Shippers don't have to use them, but they do because it takes a lot of pressure off of them.
Actors
Carriers
aren't
do not
mean it.
have to use. Yeah, yeah,
You
it's
don't
it's
have to use
convenient.
them.
Yeah. Same thing with dispatchers. Carriers don't need dispatchers. As a contract dispatcher myself, I want you to need me, but at the same token, the people who recognize the value of the service are the people who use that service. So So there's no shortage of dispatchers out there if a carrier really wants to take advantage of that. Just make sure you do your homework on your dispatcher and contact Kate. She was unable to join us today. Contact Kate and she will help you get paired with a good dispatcher that fits your models. Now, Kate and I both specialize um, in hot shots. I also specialize in box trucks. So anything that's box truck related, she pushes my way. Um, I push her some of my hot shot opportunities. It's about working together to pair carriers
And it
with
might be
what
where
they
you're
need most.
located. It might be where those loads are and where you have drivers at, and so therefore maybe you have good market here and she's got good market there, yada yada. So if you got a driver in her area, she knows where to find the good loads.
Yeah, finding good dispatchers we know is a problem, and that's what she deals with. If you ever get the opportunity to work with a NOAA dispatcher, you're working with a dispatcher who's not only been vetted. We have followed up with their carriers to make sure that they are actually a real dispatcher. The dispatchers also sign a code
Code
of
of ethics.
ethics. Um, that way, we're not trying to do anything shady in any way, stretch, or form. That code of ethics is like a contract with NOAA, and you cannot carry the NOAA icon in your signature block unless you have a valid NOAA dispatch certificate. And those certificates are renewed every 3 months. So, going through the renewal process, we are able to screen out the guys that get through the first time who really aren't worth it. So if you need a dispatcher, get a hold of Kate. She can definitely take care of you. Of course, first join NOAA.
Yeah.
Uh, join NOAA, 125 bucks every 3 months. It's really
You're gonna
not a
more
lot.
than
It's
save
a
it,
drop
and
in the bucket.
with the fuel card and the parts and the insurance and the dispatchers, I mean, you're gonna more than make up for that $125 in a heartbeat. I mean, our insurance division will save you that every month. So.
Easily.
And,
I have to give mad props to our insurance guys. Those guys, I've not seen them yet save anybody less than 10%.
and I will
So
say,
it's worth it right there. If
a
you're up
lot of
for renewal,
people
join.
you get access to John with fraud prevention, so that if you're under a load that you think has fraud, you can call him in the moment's notice, and he gets right on it. You have me and in corporate debt collections, and the thing is, people say, "Oh, I don't need it. I don't need debt collections, whatever." Well, it's better to have me and not need me than to need me and not have me, because when you
At
need
least you
me,
have the tools
yeah,
readily available.
right. So
Everything you need to operate a trucking company is
I'm gonna
under one roof.
we partner with Premier RX to do some teledoc services to help you when you're on the road get medications. Um, we do a life insurance as well. There's accounting and bookkeeping and services. We have compliance that helps you get all of your stuff ready to go and your authority lined up in BOC3 and da 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 da, whatever else those
They
other
also
letters
help you
are.
with your new entrant audit
Drug
for those of you who
consortium.
are new carriers.
Drug consortium. So we do a lot here. So none of us wear all the hats, thankfully. And
I couldn't do it all by myself.
that's the thing when you think about all the divisions we have, John, think about that. Most owner operators that are out there in a truck doing this themselves, they're having to do their own due diligence. They're having to find their own loads. They're having to make sure they get dispatch themselves and get to and from the loads and in the operation of time that it's asking you to do. And you have to, do your own collections and do your own accounting and do your own your IFTA and your I mean all of that stuff, your ELDs, all of that you have to do, and at least here you have help from lots of different people.
I'm
So,
sure you all pretty much noticed today's episode has become pretty much a major plug for Noah, and that's okay. Last week was a short week. We ran for maybe what 2.5 days, if that. A lot of carriers didn't run at all last week, so you know we don't have a lot of interesting stories. Sorry. I'm sure next week we'll have plenty more for you, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware of what is going on, and if you are not yet a member of Noah, now's a good time to join. You get a lot of access to a lot
Give
of
yourself an
specialties.
early Christmas present.
Truly, it is. I mean, just by getting your insurance evaluated, you know, that
And
alone
it
is going to make up for the
and
money.
if the insurance guys can't save you, they're going to tell you why they can't, what you need to work on, and how you need to fix that stuff so that they can coming up on your renewal time. So that by the time you renew, they'll be able to give you a better rate.
Most insurance agents, when you call them, they'll just tell you the numbers. They don't tell you the why. Oh yeah, our guys will go through the why. They'll tell you if you need to have somebody with a CDL in a certain state. I mean that's the level of detail these guys go to make sure that you get the information you need to get the savings that you need to be able to operate in this very austere environment.
Yep, and right now it's really hard. And somebody said, they were talking about the fraud and the scam brokers and the people not paying, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, folks. Just so you know, I mean, unfortunately, they thought we would pull out of this in the first quarter of 2024, and now they're saying really more latter part of 2024, first part of 2025. So it looks like it's going to be looking for a new administration that gets us, back on track, and it always takes a few months to hit the ground and get running before you start seeing those changes. So, squirrel away all that you can now because it's looking like it could be a little tougher this year. But I can guarantee you, those that stick with it and that are there at the end will be the ones that prevail. That will reap the benefits because those rates will come back. They will come back up. They might not reach the sites that we saw before right after COVID, but that's why we're on this extreme low is because we came off that unordinary extreme high.
And remember, it's all cyclical too. Just because the cyclic wave has been so high and then back so low does not mean that the cycles still don't happen. You're going to see an automatic correction take place at some point. We enjoyed excellent rates for what, 2.5 years? Um, so yeah, it makes sense that we're going to see crap rates for just about as long with the pendulum swinging the other way. It will come back. It will come back. We just have to work together to make sure we're doing it smartly, and so that we can stay alive through this. We know that everyone's having a hard time, but we also know that being a member, you have a great chance at being able to keep yourself alive. We can at least help you minimize your costs a great deal and buy you the time that you need to recover, especially if you've got other issues. Freight guards, Jen and I both deal with those. We all know that those are carrier killers. And we have saved carriers from going out of business by getting freight guards removed. Uh, we're looking at a success rate of about 80%. Um, that's because we know what we can work on and we know it's not going to work. And we're going to tell you up front whether or not we think that you've got a chance.
Look, guys, if you've
Um,
double brokered and they're gonna nail you for double brokering, they're gonna nail you for double brokering, and we're not magicians. We can't undo that. If you have held a load hostage, if you've threatened to not deliver unless they pay you X amount of dollars, then they're gonna put that up there, and we can't undo that. We can't undo what you've already said to them. But certainly, if it's not warranted, we can help you get those removed. It's all about negotiation, and just remember, nobody is gonna walk away getting 100% of what they want usually. It's a compromise between both sides so that you get the freight guard off of you and can continue to run without any impeding um, reports out there. But you may have to give a little back to them and not. You might not get your full layover. You might not get your full what you want for your layover. It might be more to the market rate or whatever. So
Freight guards are all emotional. Uh, I would
well,
say over
I would say
99% of them.
75% or more are definitely emotional. There's still going to be those guys out there that are trying to be slick and that are double brokering and get caught in it and get a freight guard it's legitimate.
Well, yeah, they've earned those. Of the cases that I deal with, the only ones that I've not been able to resolve are the ones where the broker's customer breaks ties with the broker. In those situations, you're probably never going to win. Um, so be very careful how you operate in that regard. Make sure you're respectful, no matter how much it hurts. And trust me, I know you want to flip off that broker so bad. Be respectful. If you start getting angry, tell the broker, hey, look, I need to use the restroom. I'll call you back in about 30 minutes. Hang up, walk away, blow off some steam, then call them back. Approach these guys with a clear head, because if you don't, that's when they throw the freight cards on you. And then you got to call us.
And the Ghostbusters. So, well, I think we've
Should that be our new theme song?
no, we're not gonna take it. um,
I was also thinking maybe about Queen, Another One Bites the Dust. But
oh, I thought you were gonna say
that,
Fight Bottom Girls, and I was gonna say, oh, you're real cute. Okay.
oh no, 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 I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad.
I was just teasing.
Uh,
Um,
great song
but
though, but no.
we have approached the top of the hour. We've been an hour at this, so I see we've got a few more people on right now. I should check Facebook comments because I haven't done that real quick before we get off. I'm sorry. I'm
We don't have
totally.
any. We're good.
Oh,
I've been
perfect.
watching.
Good job. So, I guess we're gonna probably wrap this for tonight. If you were just joining us here towards the end, I encourage you to go back and listen to the case that John broke out for us earlier. It was a doozy. It's still a doozy. We're working through it now. But if you have invoices out there that are not paid and you need help, join NOAA. That's what we're here for. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Something like
You better believe it.
that.
Take care, folks. Have a good week. Stay safe out there.
All right. Bye.